Hey, thanks for taking the next step in your journey to becoming a member at Northridge. In this video, we're going to look at what it means to connect with Jesus and other believers in the church and why that's important. To connect is to invest yourself in a community learning environment that will help you to grow in your faith. In the last video, we saw in Acts 2, verse 42 and 46, that the disciples were devoted to participating in various events, gatherings with other believers in order to honor God and to help encourage and empower each other in their faith and their commitment to Jesus. They devoted themselves to connecting in community with the specific purpose of living out their faith together. It says that they were devoted to fellowship, communion, listening to teaching, and praying together. In order to be an MVP follower of Jesus, we really believe it's essential for all of us to be devoted to connecting into community by participating in the environments where we can hear the gospel of Jesus Christ, experience the encouragement of Christian fellowship, and spending time in prayer with other people. One of the most important parts of our passion to help you trust and follow Jesus is building spiritually healthy families. We want to help empower you to lead your family well and to especially help you invest in building the faith of your children. Ephesians 6 verse 4 tells us to raise our children with Christian discipline and instruction. There are many reasons why it's important to connect your children to life-giving community here at the church, but here are just a couple of quick reasons. First, it's an investment in their future. Proverbs 22 verse 6 says to teach children how they should live, and if you do that, they will remember it all of their life. Barna Research Group shows that only 6% of people become believers after they turn 18. That means unless our children make a faith commitment by the time that they are 18, there's a 94% chance that they will never commit to trusting and following Jesus with their lives. The scary thing is that recent studies have shown that that age level has now been reduced to around 13. That means that there's a very small window of opportunity for us to impact our children in their faith. That enhances the importance of committing yourself to getting your children connected into a spiritual environment where they can learn about Jesus. Secondly, connecting your children into age-appropriate ministry provides them with spiritual mentors that can model what faith looks like. We know that good coaching is important for the development and guidance of our children in sports. Having a spiritual coach is even more essential because it impacts our children for eternity. A spiritual mentor also provides them with another adult relationship that can model what it looks like to follow Jesus. It also gives them another trusted adult beside their parents that they can turn to in difficult times for guidance. Connecting your children into Cuddle Kids, Ridge Kids, Energize, or Tribe ministries is an essential part of helping them to trust and follow Jesus with their life. Northridge wants to partner with you as parents in order to have that spiritual impact in your children's lives. The best thing that you can do as parents in order to have that spiritual impact on your children is to model what it looks like to connect with other people in a small group and focus on building your faith. Ignite your spiritual growth by being connected in a small group with other believers. In my own personal faith journey, I can honestly say that I have grown spiritually the most whenever I've been connected into a small group. Here are a few biblical reasons why being in a small group is important for you. First, God is community, and He created us in His image. God created us so that we could share the joy that He experiences in community with the Trinity. In Genesis 1, verse 26, we read, "Then God said, 'Let us make people in our image to be like ourselves.'" Notice that the language there is plural. Let us, make people in our image to be like us. And that's because all three members of the Trinity participated in creation and want us to experience Him together in community. Second, because Jesus gave His life to restore our community. Adam and Eve experienced that perfect community with God in the Garden of Eden. But when they sinned, it broke that perfect community and it separated them from God. Jesus died on the cross to forgive our sin and to restore our broken relationship with God. He died to restore our community. In Romans 5, verse 11, it says, "So now we can rejoice in our wonderful new relationship with God, all because of what our Lord Jesus Christ has done for us in making us friends with God." Think about it. If Jesus was willing to die to restore our community with God, we ought to make it a priority to live in community with God and others. Jesus also prayed that we would be connected into community. In John 17, verses 21 to 22, Jesus says the goal is for all of them, all of us, to become one heart and one mind, just as you, Father, are in me and I am in you, so that they may be one heart and one mind with us, so they will be as unified and together as we are. Jesus prayed for us to make community together a priority, just like the Trinity. Third, God has called the church to be about creating environments where healthy community happens. In Ephesians 4:16, it says, under His direction, under Jesus' direction as the head of the church, the whole body is fitted together perfectly. As each part does its own special work, it helps the other parts to grow, so that the whole body is healthy and growing and full of love. Pastor and author Randy Frazee says that the development of meaningful relationships where every member carries a significant sense of belonging is central to what it means to be the church. This is what the church is and should be about. In the early church, we see the disciples were devoted to living in community with each other. They learned it from following Jesus. Jesus had His own small group. They were called 12 disciples. They experienced what living in community was like as they followed Jesus, and they modeled their lifestyle in the early church after that experience. George Gallup says, if one assumes that the church's first priority is to develop disciples, then small groups must be regarded as an essential first step. Jesus commanded us to go and to make disciples. It seems obvious then the first place to start in making disciples is with ourselves. The best place to be a disciple, a learner, or apprentice is with other believers in a small group. Fourth, we will be blessed when we invest in community. To be perfectly clear, the blessing we receive is not financial or material, but spiritual in nature. We will grow spiritually the most in our faith when we invest in it with other believers. Paul says to the Roman church in Romans chapter 1, verse 12, I'm eager to encourage you in your faith, but I also want to be encouraged by yours. In this way, each of us will be a blessing to the other. In a small group environment, we are encouragement and a blessing to each other. It gives us a safe place to belong and share life together, our ups and our downs. When we're in this life and faith journey together. Look, I know that we are all busy, and the last thing that we probably want to do is put one more thing on our calendar. But I promise you that if you take this seriously and invest in making it a priority, you will see transformation happen in your life. If you would like to connect into a small group, please contact me or the church office and we'll help point you in the right direction. We have many different options and groups available for you to connect into. Remember, our goal is not just to make you a member, but an MVP in God's kingdom mission team, helping you to trust and follow Jesus in every part of your life. Thanks again for watching and participating in this membership process. And as always, may the Lord continue to bless you and your family.